Alright guys, we're going to take a small trip down into the land of make-believe, and we're going to look at this counter ankle lock that people use against the standard Ashi. And so we've talked a little bit about how to control standard Ashi. So this is us having to at least be aware of what's going on and possibly be defensive while we're on the offense versus what the other videos have been planned like. This was a question that was asked by one of the subscribers. So what happens, and this shouldn't happen, but as I'm here and I'm controlling the position, I'm starting to look for my leg locks, my opponent gets the foot kind of off the hip, gets the ankle lock grip, and then starts cranking it from here. And for some reason is able to beat me in this standoff of technique, and I'm having to tap to this. So it's something that I can respect in the sense that I understand that people have limited range of motion, they might have pre-existing injuries, you might want to be just extremely careful because obviously you have a job and a family that you're going to take care of. This should not be enough to ever submit you. However, we're going to look at some ways to just keep ourselves safe. So first thing is just my standard Ashi control. This foot should be really tight up against Kevin's floating ribs and curled down tight into his hip so that there's no space against the top of his thigh. There's no space here against his ribs. And then this knee, like I talked about in the standard Ashi control video, is closing over top of my leg. So now here, Kevin, get the ankle lock grip. Dig in there nice and deep like. There he's starting to finally get around it, but by that point I should be starting to go for my finish and beat him on this. If his thought process is this is the time to be offensive, I should be able to absolutely destroy him from here. It's the same as people trying to do a key lock from inside closed guard, or people that are trying to do a cross choke from bottom mount. I know how to control this position. It is safe. I am in strong alignment. I'm not vulnerable here. He is. So if you have guys that are just easily pulling this foot off and just wrapping this, the first and the main thing to take away from this video is just keep drilling that standard Ashi, get better at controlling the position. Now, standard Ashi is a position, so we should be able to enter and exit it as we want. So good leg lockers don't just pull leg locks, fall onto their backs in these positions, and then end up on bottom every time. I have the choice to leave this when I want to, and we do that via a technical stand-up. So if I'm in this position and Kevin starts attacking and I feel my foot getting peeled off his hip and I know what he's trying to do, then I'm just going to continue controlling his leg. I can do this by either controlling his ankle here and being posted on my elbow, or I can grab at his Achilles here and post up onto my hand for better range of motion. And as he tries to go to finish that grip, I'm just performing the technical stand-up, and then I can either look to re-enter the position or start passing. So if you feel your leg is getting peeled off and this isn't good, don't just sit here and know how this plays out every time, especially if you're the one that's getting caught in this. Here, the foot's off, I don't like this. I keep pressure with my knee and shin down into his hip. I build up here so that if he tried to perform a technical stand-up right now, he can't withdraw that leg because of the pinning pressure of my shin, and then his hands are trying to control my foot, but I'm going to bring my knee upwards. It's going to be very hard for him to control this, especially in no-gi. If it's gi, he might have a grip on the pants. He's not threatening the ankle lock at that point. You might have to do a little bit of grip work and grip fighting in order to free your leg. Now, if I get stuck, oh, not right. So here, and Kevin manages to actually get that grip here. The only thing I really need to be concerned about is that my hip and knee might be kind of pinned against the floor underneath his leg here. And that's what's going to allow him to start transferring force somewhat into my ankle, because I'm obviously unable to absorb the force by moving my legs here. This is why I can absolutely understand that this does happen. But his leg is what's kind of pinning me here. So one, I should just go moving ahead with your ankle lock or your heel hook, whatever the mechanics, the rule set allows you for your submissions. That would be my first choice. But we're not going to go ahead with that route. He is starting to apply this. I need to make sure my hip is free, so I'm going to take the pressure off of his leg. By his leg not curling into my hip, that's going to allow me to move my knee forward here to start putting my foot from this angle, where the toes are getting pointed, to re-correcting the angle that my ankle wants to naturally sit in, where it's nice and strong, putting on that boot. He might even be trying to curl his foot here to keep my hip. I'm just going to lean back, making sure that I have this flat surface. I'm going to start bringing his foot across. For me, I'd start looking to threaten with like a leg drag here, bringing this into a cross Ashi, controlling the knee, and then this is going to allow me to move around in this angle like we did similarly with our hip mobility in the other standard Ashi videos. From here, if he tries to finish me, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can start looking at other leg entanglements, possibly threatening to an inside heel hook or cross ankle lock. But I'm also going to be able to just keep building up here. If he's going to keep holding on to my foot, he is not framing me or managing the range. He can be squeezing all he wants. And I'm just going to move around his leg and start getting into like a reverse knee on belly, moving towards north-south. So here, he wraps around my foot. He's starting to crank this. I don't like it. I just correct the hip angle. Now I have my knee over top of my ankle. I am safe. He keeps trying to crank this. I could care less. So, work on the standard Ashi. Your opponent should never be able to pull your foot off. If they do, beat them in the shootout and just submit them anyway. Or make sure that you at least make sure that your hip is able to be mobile. So understand that don't let your hip and leg get pinned between your opponent's leg and the floor, and just keep correcting your hip angle. You're the one controlling the position. He is not limiting your movement here, and so there really is no reason to get submitted from this position. So I hope that stuff helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comment section below.